So if I walk into a room, let's say I'm going to walk into a relative's house because I'm invited there for dinner. And as I walk in, my very first feeling, if I go real slow and I keep my mind blank so that I'm not thinking about what I'm carrying in my hands and, whether I'm tripping over the rug. If I have my mind blank, the very first feeling I'll get will be all the energy that's in that house and in that room. And I'll feel it, and it'll come into my body. Okay? Mm-hmm. If you're going slow. Mm-hmm. And you will know whether everyone there is having a good time before you got there. You will know whether people are having a fight. You'll actually know how the whole evening is going to unfold as you're feeling this. Then you have an opportunity to decide how you're going to be based on that energy. Well, what if you walk in and you feel like, oh my gosh, there's some real difficult stuff going on in here? Your mind immediately goes to, no, put on your mask, remember? You're the good relative, you're the good cousin, daughter, whatever you are. And you start doing the whole spin so that you don't get caught up in whatever's going on. Or if it feels really, 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 really good, then your mind will say, yeah, but what if it's not going to stay that way? The mind will just start spinning to try and protect you all the time, because we go back to this, I have to protect myself. Mm-hmm. So we don't ever allow ourselves to have our initial feeling and to really act on it until we become aware of that fact. Then we can begin to see, how do I really feel in this moment? But what that requires of us is that we slow down, that we don't multitask, that we're paying attention in this moment. It's one of the reasons on my DVD, the Heart and DNA DVD I did, at the end I put in just a breathing exercise where that's all you do is you just breathe with me, and I have ocean waves in the background. Just breathe, be present, be here. That's all. And once you get that, then how do you feel from that place? What does it feel like in that place? People don't go there. Yeah, it's like, yeah.
We don't know.
They don't know to go there. Right. So this is a step that can be taken to allow you to feel what you're experiencing in this moment as it's happening. And the thing that's so fun about it is that it's always there. You always have an opportunity. With every breath you have an opportunity. I have an opportunity right now as I'm sitting here to decide whether I am comfortable or not comfortable. You have the right to decide whether you want to ask another question or not. I mean, we have in every, how do you feel about asking another question? Which question will it be? Very slowly. Not, well, I have to ask another question and I have to come up with this. It's just the slow rhythm of, how do I really feel in this moment?
I think that probably a lot of people will think, oh my gosh, slowing down that slow in America.
Right, exactly.
And is almost like stepping out, completely stepping out of pace.
And you do. And when you do it, and
I'm sure a lot of people will think, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think a lot of people will think, how can you survive that way?
How can you not survive that way? Because when you do it, and you do it to the extent that it becomes familiar to you, you can do it in mid-flight. You can do it on the fly. Yes, the practice at first is just that. It's a practice of being present and breathing and feeling. But just like anything, just like lifting barbells, first you start out with 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds. Pretty soon, it becomes so natural to you that that's the only way that you are. So you can walk into a room, feel it, see what's going on, experience it, and still remember the original feeling, and just say to somebody, when I first walked in, it felt like this. What's happening here? No matter what's going on now, because you'll remember it. But it's a practice. It's something to learn how to do. It's a remembering, because that's how we used to be at one time. And we've lost it. But it's not. It hasn't gone very far. It's just buried inside. So it's easy to find.
What can we do to bridge the gap or help ego personality work with the essential self?
Well, most people, I believe, would like to know some easy techniques for that. And I might be the wrong person to ask that of when it comes to easy techniques, because I tend to, and I like to do this, hold people's feet to the fire and say, okay, you want to do this, we're going to do it. Don't tell me you want to do it if you don't really want to do it, because let's go there. And that doesn't always work for everybody, and I'm more than aware of that. So what you want to do is to get some quiet time in your life every day where you can be with just you. If it can just be 5 minutes, fine, then you can make it 15, and then you can get half an hour, just practice with it. Where you're alone with yourself enough that you can be quiet and feel inside of you where all the places are that you hold. That you, like when we take an in-breath, the in-breath holds, the out-breath relaxes. Well, when people take that out-breath, if they'll feel inside with that out-breath where they're not relaxing, where they're holding, and then ask themselves why, they'll begin to see what they're afraid of. And usually it's not what they think it is. It's usually something that's 4 or 5 layers underneath what's really obvious. And when you get to the place of finding what you're afraid of, then you can decide how much of yourself you're going to let show to that thing you're afraid of, be it a person, a situation, holding on to something from your past, whatever it is that is creating for you the desire to have a certain persona a certain way so that you're not really you, is fueled by a fear. So what's the fear? And then what happens when you ask that question, then you can say, well, then what's the fear behind that, and the fear behind that, and the fear behind that, and you can trace it back, usually, to something. And once you get that, like, I really feel like I'm not good enough. I truly feel like I am not good enough. And when you get into that feeling and you can really feel it, then you can ask yourself, why do I feel that? And trace that back to find out, why don't I feel good enough? What happened? People say, well, my parents always put me in my room and they didn't like me and they said I was dumb. And okay, so what's happening in your life right now to reinforce that makes you still believe it? So you can kind of start asking yourself questions about it. And in that, what you're doing is inviting the ego personality to see that it's safe to question all of these fears. And that's the first step towards becoming aware of the essential self of you. First you have to find out why you're not looking there. And that doesn't mean you have to process everything in your life and you have to, go through every little nook and cranny, because as soon as you begin to get it, then all of the other stuff becomes unimportant. I know, people that as soon as you say, how are you, they'll say, well, ever since my divorce or ever since my operation, it's like everybody has this connotation about their life is attached to some event. Mm-hmm. Well, if you get to the crux of the events, even if it's 1 or 2, the rest of them just fall away. They just have nothing to hold on to anymore. So I would suggest, as a beginning step, is getting quiet, being quiet with yourself, and really asking yourself to look at the places that you hold, and you're literally holding back. You're shoring yourself up. You're trying not to let something happen. And what do you think is going to happen, and why do you think that will happen? And then just follow it back. It's a self-investigation. And you begin to realize that everything that is causing fear in you is based upon a belief that's not real.